What's up, Star Wars fans? Today I want to talk Andor series predictions. That's right, we have just over a month to go to this series, so I asked you, the community, what you thought was coming, and as always, you came up with some great speculation. And first up here, we got a prediction from Bobby V. He states, "This series will start on the planet Fest. The Empire will be extracting resources from there, and the population will suffer more and more. When they finally resist the Empire, they will be brutally wiped out. At this point, Andor will flee the planet." And first up here, Bobby, I gotta give you props for bringing in the planet Fest from Legends. I think there's definitely a possibility that Andor will be drawing on Legends and bringing in elements of Legends to live action. And as for the prediction about the Empire, that certainly sounds on par for what we know about the Empire in this time period, and seems about right if we're going to see a young Cassian Andor turn to the Rebellion. So thanks for that, Bobby. Let's move on now to Sexy Thomas. They state in the comments, "I'm curious that if Director Krennic, the villain from Rogue One, will have a small cameo or role in the series." And Thomas, I don't think it is, because Director Krennic is so involved with the Death Star. At least in Season 1, I don't think he's going to cross paths with Cassian or Mon Mothma. Now later in the seasons, that could definitely be happening, because remember at the beginning of Rogue One, Cassian is trying to hunt down information about the Death Star. They state in the comments, "Ahsoka because Fulcrum, and maybe some space battles." And yeah, certainly Ahsoka could be in this series because she was a big part of the Rebellion, though honestly, once again, I think it'd be in maybe a second season. In the first season, we're just going to be establishing those new characters and Andor himself, so they're not going to bring in such a popular character so soon to the series. And honestly, overall, I don't think Ahsoka is part of the plan when it comes to the Andor series, and I think the only way that we get Ahsoka or any other big name characters from Star Wars in this series is if the first season crash and burns and they've already committed to season 2, and they decide that they need to bring in a big name character to boost ratings. But again, I could be totally wrong on that. Thanks for your comments, Samuk. But let's move on to JetBlast190. He states on the community tab, "I think Andor will focus on the seedier side of the early rebellion. The side that focuses on spying, espionage, and assassination. Just like the trailer suggests, which looked amazing, and the show will be dark and gritty, of course." And yeah, JetBlast190, I think that this is going to be the best part of the Andor series. It is going to be a political thriller, it's going to be a spy thriller, and I think that's going to make it a lot different from The Mandalorian. And well, anything else that Dave and John are giving us with the Mandoverse. So thanks for that, JetBlast190. Let's move on now to John Browning. He states on the community tab, "I don't know if Andor will be the main character we follow throughout the show, or if side characters, Mon Mothma, Bail Organa, etc., will have plot lines that will all converge into Cassian Andor's story at the end of the first season." And yeah, John, you make an interesting point here. How is this all going to work? We know we at least have Mon Mothma and Cassian Andor. I don't think we've seen Bail Organa in the trailer, so I don't think he's actually part of the story, at least not in this first season, because I think it's solely going to be the development of Cassian Andor and Mon Mothma. Plus, if you bring in Bail Organa, then I think you have to include Ahsoka Tano, as Ahsoka was one of his important agents. But again, I could be totally wrong there. So thanks for your speculation there, John Browning. And let's move on back to the community tab, where we got the Medieval Man 9. He states, "I think this series isn't going to be what we're expecting. Yes, this series is called Andor, and Andor will be the character we follow the most. But I don't think we're going to learn all that much about the character than we already knew from Rogue One. I think this will be more of a founding and the rise of the Rebellion, much like in Star Wars Rebels, only much more grittier. And Andor is simply going to be a surrogate for the audience. This is not a complaint or a fear, by the way. If they do this correctly, it could be an incredible way to show us both the early days of the Rebellion and the height of the Empire's power. And I totally agree, Medieval Man 9, this show is going to be a grittier version of Star Wars Rebels. And I think for Season 1, we are going to see the beginning of the Rebellion. Just like in Star Wars Rebels, we just saw the Rebellion growing on Lothal. In Andor, we're going to get to see Cassian Andor Andor's rebel cell starting to grow. And just like Hera Syndulla in Star Wars Rebels was the catalyst for that rebel cell, I think we see a clear mentor character for Cassian Andor in the trailers, and he is going to be very much like Hera, the catalyst for that rebel cell. But hey Star Wars fans, let me know what you think about the Cassian Andor series. As always, I'm Mike, and remember, the Force will be with you always.